Hello and welcome to Odds on Nations League. Let's analyze the most interesting games in the fifth match day of the Nations League, including Portugal-France with Tom Williams. And remember, if you leave a comment in this video, you have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And if you enjoyed the video, do not forget to click on the like and subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. So this weekend we have the UEFA Nations League, we have international break, and we are going to enjoy the fifth match day and analyze everything with a really big fan of national teams. I know that. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Eduardo. How's it going?
It's going really good, although I'm going to miss the Premier League, but we have the international break and some very, very interesting games, like the first one. Portugal-France. Portugal and France both with 10 points. Tom, I think probably is the best game we can see right now in UEFA, in Europe. We are talking about the European champion against the world champion. They drew in Paris. I don't know, what do you expect here?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, this is the standout fixture in this round of international matches. Portugal and France, both unbeaten at the top of their group. They've only dropped points in that 0-0 draw at Stade de France. And this will probably be the game that decides the group and decides which team qualifies for the Nations League finals and which team doesn't. There's not a huge amount between the teams. We saw that in that meeting at Stade de France. But I just look at Portugal. I look at the form that their forward players are in at the moment. You know, Diogo Jota, who's made an incredible start to life at Liverpool. He got 2 goals against Sweden in his last game for Portugal. Joao Felix has made a fantastic start to season with Atletico Madrid. Bruno Fernandes is going into this game off the back of a couple of goals for Manchester United at Everton. They've got Paulinho, the Braga striker, who had an incredible season last season. That's before we even get on to Cristiano Ronaldo, who is available, having missed the previous international meet-up. France have looked slightly shaky defensively in some of their matches. Rafael Varane in particular, who was their defensive linchpin, is in quite poor form for Real Madrid. So I wonder whether we might be looking at a Portugal victory here. And you can get odds of around 2.74 on Oddspedia for a Portugal win.
All right, interesting. We have also, I want to highlight the debut of Thuram for the Shams side. The people that are older than me, we saw the father playing, and you say that Portugal is gonna be your favorite for this game. The odds are pretty high for both sides. Actually, if you also like Portugal, we have, as you said, no odds around 2.75, more or less on Oddspedia. Maybe we see again a draw, no? That's also another option. So for that, if someone wants to be a little bit more cautious, we have Portugal Asian Handicap 0 at odds 1.79. That maybe is also a good idea, because we win our bet if Portugal wins, but we get our money back if France gets a draw in this very, very interesting game. We are going down in interest, of course, because we are now analyzing the other 2 teams in this group, Sweden and Croatia. Particularly, I would say, no, Croatia is being a little bit disappointed after arriving to the final of the World Cup. 3 points only for Croatia. Tom, no points for Sweden. If Croatia wins this game, they already avoid the relegation to the Zone B of this Nations League. And actually, Croatia is slightly favored to win in this game.
Yeah, well, after the promotion playoff between France and Portugal, we have what is effectively a relegation playoff between Sweden and Croatia. Croatia won the reverse fixtures 2-1. They're 3 points above Sweden, and that means that a draw in this game is enough for Croatia to avoid relegation and to condemn Sweden to League B. Sweden have only scored 1 goal in their 4 games so far. They've lost all 4 of them, and Croatia have shown a little bit more than Sweden, even in the games that they've lost. Croatia only need a draw, and you can get odds of 3.25 on Oddspedia for a draw. And I think, given the way that the group stands, I can see that as a reasonably likely outcome.
Do you see a lot of goals here? We are talking about Sweden, not that Ibrahimovic is even thinking to come back for the Europe, but now is not available and Sweden is struggling. Maybe we can also check here under 2.5 goals. Do you think that would be a decent bet also?
Yeah, I think so. I think given that Sweden are at risk of being relegated, as are Croatia as things stand, I suspect it'll be a little bit cagey. We know that players are going into this feeling a little bit tired already with the accumulation of matches. And as I said, Sweden have only scored once in the 4 group games. Croatia have got a little bit more about them, but I think whatever happens, I don't think it's going to be a goal fest.
We have odds for that 1.70 if you fancy under 2.5 goals. And we move to Group 4, where we find Germany, Ukraine. This group is actually very, very interesting, especially after Ukraine's victory against Spain. I think no one could predict that. And Germany, Tom, is also struggling. No, they couldn't beat Switzerland. So what can happen here? I guess Germany should win here, right?
I mean, ordinarily, Germany would be favourites in a game like this, but like you say, they're all over the place. We know that they're in the midst of this transition period under Joachim Löw, and the results they've had some really strange results. I mean, like you say, they drew 3-3 at home to Switzerland last time out, had to come back from 2-0 down. They've had a 3-3 draw with Turkey in a recent friendly. They've gone 6 games without a clean sheet. And Ukraine, as you say, are going into this game off the back of that smash and grab 1-0 win over Spain that will give them a lot of confidence. I suspect there'll be goals in this one. Ukraine have got a little bit about them going forward. Germany, as I've just said, are struggling for clean sheets at the moment. And just looking at the odds on Oddspedia, over 3.75 goals is currently 2.70. And I think given the fact that Germany struggle to keep clean sheets at one end, but have no trouble scoring at the other end, and the fact that Ukraine showed against Spain what a dangerous team they can be, means there should be goals in this one.
All right, and apart from goals, do you expect an easy victory for Germany? Maybe we should look at the Asian handicap, because the German victory is paid very little, only 135. Do you think they are going to win comfortably?
They should win, but I don't think it'll be comfortable. And nothing that Germany have done in the group so far has been comfortable. They've not won yet at home. They drew 1-1 against Spain. They drew 3-3 against Switzerland, and they have been a little bit all over the place. So, I wouldn't put it past Ukraine to get a result here. But yeah, looking at the balance of power, if you had to land on one side of the fence, you land on the Germany side, I think.
Okay, then let's go for the goal market rather than a comfortable victory for Germany. And the other fixture of this group is Spain traveling to Switzerland. I already said that Spain lost against Ukraine when they were, I think, being pretty solid with Luis Enrique, and is still not the top of the group. Spain 7 points against Switzerland, but it's not easy to win in this country. Odds for Spain is around 2.0, 1.97 right now. Do you expect a Spanish victory, as I could hope for?
I mean, Spain are obviously favourites for this, but if you look at their recent form, they've failed to score in 2 of their last 3 matches in all competitions, having scored in each of their previous 42 games. So they have been struggling for goals a little bit of late, Spain, and we saw that most notably in that game in Ukraine, which they dominated, but just couldn't find a way to score. They're also without Ansu Fati, who's become, a key figure both for the national team and for Barcelona. So he's someone they'll miss. On the flip side of that, they don't let many goals in Spain. And I think that Ukraine match was the sort of thing that can happen to a country like Spain, to a national team like Spain, who will almost always dominate matches, but might not necessarily always find a way to score. But at the same time, that they generally keep things quite tight at the back. So I'd be looking at a Spain win here, and perhaps a Spain win to 0, given the fact that they are pretty solid defensively. And you can get odds at 3.25 on Oddspedia for Spain to win and keep a clean sheet at the other end.
Okay, that's good odds for the under 2.5 goals market. We also have 1.94, so that would be also a good option. You mentioned it well. Spain is struggling scoring goals, and Ansu Fati is injured. Asensio came in, but he's not scoring goals even for Real Madrid. And Luis Enrique has also called Morata, which is right now the only hope, I would say, to score goals for the Spanish national teams. Also in the first fixture against Switzerland, only 1-0 with Oyarzabal goals, even if Spain was way better than the Swiss team. And from my national team to your national team, let's move on to Sunday's games, and we go to Group 2. Also, the best game we can see on Sunday, of course, Belgium, England. Belgium top in the group with 9.
That's not my national team. My national team is Wales. England are the
sorry.
But that's okay.
Sorry.
We'll carry on. I'll forgive you for that one.
Big mistake. Then England is traveling to Belgium. Belgium 9 points, England 7 points. Do you think England can get the victory they need actually to top this group?
I think this will be a really interesting one. As you say, another really attractive fixture between two of the best teams in Europe. England's form in this group has been really peculiar. I mean, they were incredible in qualifying for Euro 2020, scored goals for fun. They found it much harder this time out. They needed a stoppage time goal to win away at Iceland in their first game. They drew 0-0 away to Denmark and then lost at home to Denmark last time out. And the only win they've had was the home win against Belgium, of course, the team they're playing this weekend. Belgium have a fantastic home record. They've won their last 10 competitive home games. They got Eden Hazard back in the squad after injury. He'll be motivated playing against England, the country where he used to play with Chelsea. England are missing a few key players. Harry Maguire suspended after getting sent off against Denmark. We learned yesterday that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be out injured. Not that England are short of right-backs at the moment, but, you know, a key player. Reece James, another right-back, suspended after his sending off against Denmark. So I'd be looking at a Belgium win here. You can get odds of 9.5 on a 2-1 Belgium win. Okay,
pretty decent. Also for this group, remember that Denmark has still options as well with 7 points. And on Group 1, we have Italy against Poland. Italy is improving a lot under Mancini, with a lot of youngsters actually, but now they've been really hit by COVID also, and all the measures in Italy. Actually, even Roberto Mancini cannot be on the bench for this game. It's going to be his assistant, Evani. And they face Poland with Lewandowski and company here. Italy favorite, Tom, with 1.82 right now in Oddspedia.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a potential banana skin for Italy. You mentioned Robert Lewandowski, incredible form this year. 15 goals in 13 games for club and country this season so far. Poland going into this game on the back of a 3-0 home win over Bosnia in their most recent Nations League fixture. Italy, as you say, all these COVID issues, players having to self-isolate, undergoing tests, big uncertainty about what sort of starting 11 they're going to put out. But they've had this incredible run of form since Mancini came in. They look like a new team. They also have a phenomenal home record, 19 games unbeaten, 23 home games unbeaten. So it's hard to see Poland surprising them here. Italy need to win this as well. They're second in the group, a point behind Poland, if they want to qualify for the final. So yeah, I think Italy to win looks like a decent bet.
We have, I said it already, 1.82 for Italy. If you think Poland might surprise you here, the double chance could be a good market. So a draw or a victory for Poland is paid 2.25. We were mentioning Lewandowski, of course, is a Polish icon, but also we have to take a look at Grosicki or even Milik, who knows how to play in Italy, and they've been scoring also for the Polish national team recently. And in this group we also have Netherlands, Bosnia. Netherlands 5 points, Bosnia only 2 points. Actually, Holland is trying to come back after Koeman's departure, and now we have Frank de Boer here as a new coach. Netherlands, Tom really has to win that, and is really favorite, odds only 1.36. I don't know if you think they are going to win that easily to Bosnia.
It's a hard one to call this, in that, as you say, the Netherlands are adapting to life without Ronald Koeman, with Frank de Boer having come in, and their form in the group so far has been patchy. Only one win in 4 games. They've really struggled for goals, only 2 goals in their 4 group matches so far. They're also missing a few key players at the other end of the pitch. No Jasper Cillessen, the goalkeeper, no Virgil van Dijk, of course, who's out for the season, and no Matthijs de Ligt either. So that's 3 starting players. On the flip side of that, Bosnia's form has been pretty poor. They're rock bottom of the group without a win. So I think this will be quite close, given that the Netherlands have struggled for goals a little bit. I would back the Netherlands to win this one. I don't think there's going to be an avalanche of goals, and you can get odds of 2.21 on there being under 2.5 goals on Oddspedia.
Probably that's the best call actually for this game, because Netherlands victory is only around 1.4 right now, and I think as you said, it's very risky to bet on handicap, because Netherlands are not scoring easily and they are struggling a little bit to win games in this Nations League. And we go down to the League B to see some other 2 interesting games. The first one is in the group 2, Slovakia against Scotland. Slovakia only 1 point. Scotland is like the strongest team in this group with 10 points, but the odds are very balanced here. Like the draw seems the best option here, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to say about this fixture is that both teams have got crucial Euro 2020 playoff finals on Thursday evening. We're recording this before those matches take place, so we don't know what the outcomes will be. But I think it's safe to say that there will be an aftermath to these matches. If both teams go through, if both teams go out, if one team qualifies and one team doesn't, that there will be consequences to this fixture. And then you look at the positions in the group. Scotland have got a 4-point lead over Czech Republic with 2 games to go. This isn't a game they have to win. Slovakia are bottom with a point. They can't get promoted. They could still avoid relegation. It looks unlikely. I have a feeling there might be a bit of an after the Lord Mayor's show feel to this game. And if you look at the odds on potential draw scorelines, you can get odds of 11 on a 0-0 draw. And I think that given that both teams will have invested a huge amount of energy and of sort of physical and mental effort in these Euro 2020 playoff matches on Thursday, I don't think a sleepy 0-0 draw is that unlikely.
Okay, also the odds for under 2.5 goals is 1.83. So if you predict a goalless draw, probably this is a game we could skip watching on TV. And let's see if this time for your national team you expect a victory or not. Wales playing against Ireland at home. Wales also doing pretty well, 10 points facing Ireland. On the contrary, only 2 points, but they drew in Ireland. Do you expect here a victory for Ryan Giggsman?
I mean, this is clearly the biggest game of the weekend. Wales, top of the group, closing in on promotion to League A, which would be an incredible thing for such a small football nation. Wales have picked up 10 points from their 4 matches so far, despite only scoring 3 goals, 3 1-0 wins and a 0-0 draw away to Ireland in Dublin that you mentioned. Ireland have also really struggled for goals. They've gone 4 games without a goal in all competitions. They have no chance of promotion, and they're trying to avoid relegation, battling against Bulgaria. So I don't think there are going to be many goals in this one. No Aaron Ramsey for Wales. Gareth Bale, though, is fit. And I think, given Wales' form and given the fact they don't let many goals in and they've got this incentive of trying to get promotion, I reckon a Wales 1-0 win might be on the cards here. And you can get odds of 5.5 on Oddspedia on that outcome.
If you check only the outright odds, actually are pretty decent for the Welsh victory, 2.15 right now on Oddspedia. If you think Gareth Bale, Ryan Giggs and company can get the victory against Ireland. And we've analyzed all the most interesting games we have in UEFA in Europe during this weekend. The only thing missing right now, Tom, is your accumulator.
Okay, so for my accumulator this week, I'm backing Portugal, Spain, Italy, and, this is the patriot in me speaking, Wales.
I didn't say anything about the Spanish victory. And the odds for this is 15.59. So €1 you can get 15.59 if you back Portugal, Spain, Italy, Wales to win. Thank you very much, Tom Williams. A pleasure.
My pleasure. Speak to you soon.
You heard it. Portugal beating France, Germany struggling against Ukraine, also Spain struggling against Switzerland. These are Tom's predictions, but I also want to hear yours. So make a comment in this video and you will get the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And remember, please press on the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. Also, we have a podcast, so you can listen to all our videos in our podcast. We will be back next week with more action about the Nations League.